I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society.
I'm Joe Richman of Radio Diaries.
We live together.
On April 20th, 1964, Nelson Mandela was in a stuffy South African courtroom. Mandela and 7 others were facing charges of treason. Everyone thought he would testify in his own defense. Instead, Mandela stood up in front of the judge and he gave a speech.
It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
I am prepared to die. Those are the last 5 words of the speech, and they're well known today. Less well known are the 10,693 other words. The speech lasted 4 hours. A court stenographer made an audio recording of that speech on a plastic dictabelt. The recording was then lost and forgotten, and that may be why it survived. The apartheid government erased many of the trial recordings. Almost 4 decades later, an employee of the South African Broadcasting Corporation found the speech in their basement archive. I know that basement well. I spent many weeks there in 2003, surrounded by stacks of reel-to-reel tapes, searching for sound to help tell the story you're about to hear.
Nelson Mandela, the accused of charge.
Many of those reels were in bad shape. This one I had to tape back together just so it would play.
The planned purpose thereof was to bring about chaos, disorder, and turmoil in the battle to be waged against the white man in this country.
It was thrilling to hear the actual words, the actual sounds of Mandela's trial. And then somebody in the courtroom coughed. When I heard that cough, suddenly I wasn't just listening to the words. I could hear the echo, the dimensions of the room. I could feel the stillness of the afternoon, the anticipation of the crowd. That cough put me in the courtroom.
In a violent revolution in the country.
When Mandela spoke those now famous words, "I am prepared to die," in 1964, he was speaking not only for himself, but for his 7 co-defendants, and for a growing movement. In prison, Mandela became the symbol of the struggle against apartheid. After he was released in 1990, Mandela rarely spoke about himself as an individual. He talked about a collective history. In this program, we set out to document that collective history. Standing in that basement archive, surrounded by stacks of unmarked tapes, I remember thinking about all the stories that had been lost, and all the stories that were never recorded at all. So many of the people who fought against apartheid are already gone. Some of them will be remembered in years to come. Others will be forgotten. Mandela was the voice for all of them.
Oh, Nelson Mandela.